Have you ever woken up from a dream so strange, so unsettling, that it lingered with you all day? Maybe a dark figure was chasing you. Maybe someone you love appeared with a distorted face. Or maybe you stood in a room that felt oddly familiar, yet uncomfortably eerie. What if those dreams weren't random at all, but coded messages from the part of yourself you've been avoiding? Carl Jung believed dreams are never meaningless noise. They are maps, direct clues to the hidden corners of your psyche, what he called the shadow. And the shadow isn't some monster outside of you, it is you. It's the emotions, impulses, and memories you pushed aside because they didn't match the image you wanted to keep. In dreams, those fragments come back, disguised in haunting symbols and strange figures. Think about it. That dream where you're humiliated in front of others may not be about failure at all. It could be your shadow revealing the insecurity you try so hard to hide. The nightmare of being chased? That may be the part of yourself you've been running from in waking life. These clues are there every night, waiting to be decoded. So here's the real question. If your dreams are exposing the secrets that keep you stuck, are you willing to listen? Stay with me, because we're going to explore how Jung's method can turn your dreams into a mirror of the shadow. And by the end, you'll discover the one dream sign Jung himself warned was the most dangerous to ignore. Dreams are the theater of the night, where the unconscious takes center stage. For Jung, they were never trivial. He called them the royal road to the unconscious and directly to the shadow. While Freud saw dreams mostly as wish fulfillment, Jung believed they were communications. They balanced us. Sometimes they even offered prophetic signals about what the psyche needs. But before we go deeper, let's pause and ground ourselves. What exactly is the shadow? In Jung's view, the shadow is everything we disown. The traits, emotions, and instincts we push into the dark because they don't match the mask we show the world. If you pride yourself on being kind, your anger gets shoved into the shadow. If you see yourself as confident, your insecurity ends up buried there. It's not just darkness or evil. It's the parts of you that were never allowed into the light. Here's the fascinating part. Just because you repress the shadow doesn't mean it disappears. It leaks out in projections, in emotional triggers, and yes, through dreams. Jung insisted that dreams are one of the most direct ways the unconscious speaks. Why? Because when you're asleep, the ego finally relaxes. The guard at the gate steps aside, and the shadow has a chance to whisper its truth not in plain words, but in symbols. Think of your unconscious as an artist painting while you sleep. Every dream image is a brushstroke, a person, a place, a strange twist in the story. To the untrained eye, it looks random. But to Jung, every detail carries meaning. The figure chasing you, the locked door you can't open, the friend who suddenly turns hostile, each points to hidden tensions inside you. And here's the key insight. Shadow work isn't about cutting these parts out. It's about integration. By taking dream symbols seriously, you begin to piece together a map of your inner world. You uncover not only what you fear, but also the gifts buried in the dark, your creativity, your vitality, your confidence. Why does this matter today? Because ignoring the shadow doesn't make it vanish. It seeps into your relationships, your stress at work, your unexplained anxiety. Learning to read dream clues isn't just analyzing weird stories from sleep. It's one of the most powerful practices of self-discovery. Think about it. Every night, you're handed a secret letter from your unconscious. The only question is, will you throw it away, or will you unfold it and read? In this journey, we'll move step by step through Jung's method. We'll explore how dream images point directly to the shadow, why recurring dreams are so important, and how simple journaling can help you decode them. By the end, you'll see that dreams aren't fleeting illusions. They can be guides, leading you from darkness toward wholeness. Picture this. A man dreams he's walking down a long hallway. The lights flicker. At the end, there's a door. He reaches for the handle, but it's locked. No matter how hard he pushes, it won't open. Then, from behind, footsteps echo. A dark figure approaches. Panic rises. He pounds on the door, desperate to escape. Just as the figure reaches him, he wakes up sweating, heart racing. At first, it feels like nothing more than a nightmare. But Jung would ask, why the locked door? Why the shadowy figure? And maybe the most important question, what part of you is behind that door? This dream is a perfect metaphor for the shadow. The hallway is awareness, the dreamer's path through life. The locked door represents the parts of himself he's sealed away. And the figure in the dark isn't a stranger. It's his own disowned self, following him, demanding to be seen. The more he runs, the scarier it feels. But what if, instead of running, he turned and asked, "What do you want from me?" That's the paradox of shadow work. The things that terrify us most in dreams are often the very keys to wholeness. The figure that chases you is not there to destroy you. It's there to guide you back to what you've neglected. Jung put it simply, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Now let's bring it closer to real life. Imagine someone who prides themselves on being calm and professional at work. They swallow frustration to keep their image polished. But at night, their dreams are full of violent storms, arguments, chaos. The dream is revealing what daily life hides: anger and exhaustion pushed too far. Ignoring it risks burnout. Listening to it creates a chance to set boundaries and honor real feelings. Dreams love paradox. The storm isn't only destruction, it's energy demanding release. The locked door may not be a prison. It could be a treasure chest, waiting for the right key. And the figure chasing you is not an enemy, but a messenger, carrying the parts of yourself you've forgotten. It's the same pattern you see in myth. In ancient legends, in modern films, the hero must enter darkness, face the monster, and return transformed. And what does the monster always guard? Treasure. Dreams follow that same design. The monster you meet at night is your shadow, and the treasure it guards is your authenticity, creativity, and power. So, the next time you wake unsettled from a dream, pause before you dismiss it. Ask yourself, what treasure might this monster be protecting? What part of me is knocking on the door, asking to return? When fear shifts into curiosity, everything changes. That shift is the heart of Jung's method. And once you begin to decode the language of dreams, you'll realize the shadow is not chasing you away. It's inviting you back home. One of the most common dream themes is being chased, whether it's by a shadowy figure, a wild animal, or something you can't quite name. The story is the same: you're running. Jung believed this doesn't represent an external threat at all. It's a part of yourself you've exiled, chasing you down. Imagine a woman who dreams she's being chased by a snarling dog. In her waking life, she avoids conflict at all costs. She plays the peacemaker, never showing anger. But the dog is her anger, her primal instinct to defend herself. The more she buries it, the more vicious it becomes in her dreams. If you've had dreams like this, ask yourself, what am I running from in my daily life? What truth or emotion feels too dangerous to face? Sitting with that question, even if it's uncomfortable, can reveal what the shadow is asking you to see. Another striking clue appears when loved ones show up in distorted, unsettling ways. A friend might act cruel, a partner may wear a mask, a family member might turn into a stranger. Jung explained this as projection. The dream isn't about them, it's about you. Take the example of someone who dreams their supportive boss suddenly ridicules them. In waking life, this person hides insecurity beneath competence. The dream exposes the fear of being revealed as inadequate. If you've had a dream like this, write down the person who appeared distorted. Then ask yourself, what qualities of mine are reflected in them? Qualities I fear or qualities I deny? Reclaiming those projections is one of the fastest ways to bring the shadow back into awareness. Dreams also love to show us houses, doors, staircases, hidden rooms. Jung believed that a house in a dream often symbolizes the psyche itself. A locked door, a basement you've never seen, or a hidden room is a direct pointer to something within you that hasn't been explored. Someone dreams of finding a basement in their childhood home, filled with forgotten objects. Those objects are repressed memories, emotions, and even talents. The shadow hides more than fear, it hides gifts. Another dreamer discovers a locked room in his apartment and wakes uneasy. Later, he realizes he's been neglecting his creativity, shutting down his art because it didn't seem practical. The locked room was his creativity waiting for him. If you've had a dream about locked doors or hidden rooms, try sketching the dream's architecture. Then ask, what part of my life feels sealed away? What memory, strength, or potential have I closed off? Dreams repeat their messages until we listen. Being chased, seeing distorted loved ones, finding hidden rooms, each is an invitation to turn inward. Jung reminds us that these are not random tricks of the mind. They are living symbols. They are mirrors. And the shadow? It isn't here to destroy you. It's here to return what you've abandoned. Sometimes the unconscious won't let go until we finally pay attention. That's why recurring nightmares carry so much weight. When the same dream plays out again and again, Jung saw it as a signal that something deeply unresolved is demanding your awareness. Think of someone who dreams, week after week, of standing unprepared for an exam. They haven't been in school for years, yet the anxiety feels raw and real. The dream isn't about academics. It's about inadequacy, fear of failure, and the harsh inner critic that keeps them trapped. Recurring dreams are like a flashing red light. Avoidance isn't working. The shadow is insisting on being faced. Ask yourself, what emotion shows up each time a recurring dream appears? And where does that emotion live in your waking life? Following that thread can uncover what the dream has been shouting all along. Another common theme is the loss of control, falling endlessly, trying to scream but no sound comes out, driving a car and realizing the brakes don't work. These dreams are unnerving because they reveal the ego losing its grip while the unconscious takes over. Imagine someone who dreams of driving downhill with no way to stop. In daily life, this person prides themselves on being organized and in control. But the dream reveals a truth. Underneath that control is fear. Fear of failure, fear of surrender. Jung saw such dreams as an invitation to humility. They remind us we are not absolute masters of our own psyche. Parts we try to dominate will eventually rebel. So, if you've ever dreamed of losing control, consider this. Where in your life are you holding on too tightly? What might happen if you allowed more flow instead of forcing every detail? There are also dreams where the dead appear relatives, old friends, people from your past. Jung viewed these encounters as symbols of memory, ancestry, or unprocessed grief. They carry emotional weight because they're not about the people themselves, they're about what they represent. Picture someone who dreams of their deceased grandmother offering a warning. Symbolically, this could be wisdom long ignored, traditions abandoned, or wounds left unresolved. Another dreamer might see an ex-partner return in strange ways. The dream isn't about rekindling a relationship. It's about emotions buried with that chapter: guilt, longing, resentment surfacing to be acknowledged. When these figures appear, ask yourself, what part of my past is trying to speak to me? What unfinished business, what grief, or what wisdom have I left unattended? Even writing a letter to the dream figure, without ever sending it, can bring deep release. Recurring nightmares, losing control, encounters with the dead, all of these are bold signals from the shadow. They remind us that the unconscious is not silent. It insists, through repetition, through haunting images, through disorienting scenes, that we face what we've hidden. And here's the paradox. What feels like a threat in the dream is often a lifeline in waking life. If you dare to listen, every nightmare, every lost break, every ghost becomes a messenger pointing you toward wholeness. Every now and then, the unconscious drops all disguises. Instead of symbols or metaphors, it sends you face to face with the shadow itself. You might meet a figure that looks exactly like you, only darker, more twisted, more unsettling. Jung called this a direct encounter with the shadow, one of the most powerful dream experiences. Imagine standing in a dream before a version of yourself who sneers, mocks, or radiates anger. It feels threatening, but Jung would say, this isn't an enemy, it's a mirror. The dream is saying, here is the side of you you've banished. Will you look it in the eye? When this happens, write down every detail you remember. What qualities did this other you show? Where do those qualities live in your waking life? Even in small ways. Facing them directly helps you reclaim the parts of your personality you've denied. Dreams can also show transformation images of death and rebirth, of turning into animals, or of radical change unfolding before your eyes. Jung saw these as signs of integration, the psyche weaving shadow back into the whole. Someone might dream of being devoured by a lion, only to emerge alive, stronger than before. On the surface, it's terrifying, but symbolically, it means the shadow has been faced, and its power is now being absorbed into the conscious self. Think of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. Dreams of transformation are proof that change is already underway. If you've had a dream like this, ask yourself, what part of me had to die in that dream, and what new quality was born in its place? Reflection like this can uncover the new energy the psyche is trying to give you. And sometimes, the shadow appears not as threat, but as gift. You might find gold in a cave, receive a mysterious present, or stumble upon a hidden jewel. These images often mean that integration has begun to bear fruit. Picture someone digging through dirt in a dream and suddenly discovering a shining crystal. That crystal could represent creativity, intuition, or courage qualities once buried in the unconscious. The message is simple. By facing the dark, you've reclaimed a forgotten gift. When such treasures appear, pause and reflect. What talent, strength, or passion have I hidden away out of fear or shame? And how can I bring it back into my life now? Dreams don't only confront us with fear, they reveal possibility. By meeting the shadow directly, by experiencing transformation, by receiving gifts from the dark, you see what Jung always emphasized. The unconscious is not trying to punish you. It's trying to complete you. The shadow, in the end, isn't the closing chapter. It's the beginning of wholeness. Carl Jung once wrote, "The dream is the small hidden door in the deepest and most intimate sanctum of the soul." Think about that for a moment. Every dream you have is a doorway, not to some outside world, but to the untouched depths within you. And through that door, the shadow waits. When we take dreams seriously, we start to see that shadow work isn't only a personal practice. It's also a bridge between the individual and the collective. Each of us carries repressed qualities, forgotten instincts, and unhealed wounds. But together, society mirrors these shadows on a larger scale in conflict, prejudice, and the fears that shape cultures. Your dream of being chaste is deeply personal, yes, but it also echoes something universal. We all run from what we fear. Your dream of locked doors is yours alone, but it also connects to a timeless theme. Every culture has myths of forbidden chambers, hidden caves, and treasures that can only be found in the dark. In that sense, your personal shadow is also a fragment of the collective shadow. Integration, then, is not just about healing yourself. It's about contributing to the healing of humanity. When you face your anger, your shame, your grief, you become less likely to project it onto others. And when that happens, not only do you free yourself, you lighten the space around you. Dreams remind us that our struggles are archetypal stories. They link us to myths of heroes who descend into the underworld, face the monster, and return with treasure. They connect us to ancestors who also wrestled with fear, to the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. When you listen to your dreams, you're not just decoding symbols. You're joining a lineage of seekers who dared to face the unknown and came back with wisdom. And here's the paradox. The shadow is both deeply personal and entirely universal. The figure haunting you in your dream is shaped by your unique life, your wounds, your memories. But the archetype it carries, the dark twin, the monster, the hidden treasure, belongs to all of us. So what does this mean for you, here and now? It means that by facing your dream images, you're doing more than self-help. You're stepping into a role Jung saw as essential for our time, becoming a conscious participant in the unfolding of the collective psyche. In a world overflowing with projection, blame, and division, the courage to integrate your own shadow is radical. It ripples outward. Your dream work becomes not only a path of self-discovery, but an act of service to humanity. So the next time you wake from a vivid dream, ask yourself, what door just opened? And if I step through, how might it transform not only me, but the world I live in? So let's bring it all together. Dreams are not random static from the brain. They are messages coded, emotional, symbolic from the deepest part of you. Jung taught that these messages point directly to the shadow, the parts of yourself you've hidden, rejected, or forgotten. We've seen how the dream of being chased reveals what you're running from, how distorted loved ones mirror projections you've disowned, how locked doors, recurring nightmares, loss of control, and ghostly figures carry the voice of your repressed self. And we've seen how, when faced, those same dreams can transform into treasures, moments of rebirth, hidden gifts, and the very strengths you need to feel whole again. This is the path Jung outlined: darkness, awareness, integration, wholeness. It begins by noticing the dream, however unsettling. Then you reflect, you journal, you ask, what is this image trying to show me about myself? Slowly, fear turns into curiosity, curiosity into understanding, and understanding into transformation. The beautiful part is this: you don't need a perfect method to begin. You already have the raw material. Every night, your unconscious hands you a script. All you have to do is take it seriously. Write it down, reflect on it. Have a dialogue with the images instead of dismissing them. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll start to recognize the voice of the shadow not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Because in the end, shadow work isn't about becoming flawless. It's about becoming whole. And your dreams are guides on that journey, lighting the way with their symbols, their stories, their emotions. So tonight, when you close your eyes and drift into sleep, remember, your psyche will send another message. The question is, will you ignore it or will you listen?